Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another review video. This video is dedicated to Daisuke Beppu. If you are unfamiliar with his YouTube channel, you should check out, because it's one of the best channels on the YouTube for cinema. Daisuke specialises in the Criterion collection, but he has a huge collection, arguably the best on the internet, of several labels, and he is very approachable, very knowledgeable, and just an excellent YouTuber. And I was fortunate enough that recently he did a video highlighting my channel and heaping lots of praise on my videos that I don't really deserve. So as a way of thanking him and any new subscribers to the channel, I'm just going to do a review of Funeral Parade of Roses by Toshio Matsumoto. And it's Bara no Suretsu in Japanese. Daisuke has mentioned this on his channel once or twice, so as a thank you to him, I watched the film and I'm just going to give you some of my thoughts about the film, and hopefully I'm going to send this to Daisuke and he can do a video on the film, because no doubt I won't really do it justice. And he's known and loved the film for longer, so he'll be able to do a much better video. This is Matsumoto's debut from 1969. I'm guessing it was part of the Japanese New Wave, which included obviously directors like Oshima, and they kind of turned their back on the old masters like Kurosawa and Kobayashi and Mizoguchi and Ozu, because they felt that their films didn't really speak to them as the youth of Japan. So Funeral Parade of Roses actually reminds me a little bit of Richard Lester's mid-60s, early 70s work, and I'll maybe just mention why I think that is. So the basic story is set in the gay community in Japan in 1969, which again isn't particularly a well-mined area in cinema, and it stars Peter, who, in a link to Kurosawa and the old masters, he actually played the fool in Ran, and it also stars Yoshio Tushina, which sadly I've probably butchered his name and I apologise, who was in Sanjuro and Yojimbo. He was one of the peasants in Seven Samurai, and it tells the story of two warring drag queens who work at a club run by Yoshio's character. Lena is the older drag queen, and Eddie is the younger, the up and coming. And it's really about their fight for the man in the middle, who happens to be a drug dealer and that is the basic narrative, but there's so much more going on. Matsumoto shoots some of it as a narrative film, but he also shoots some of it as a documentary. There's fourth wall breaking, there is vox pops, there's somebody asking about what it is to be gay and why they're gay, why people do drugs. There's a whole kind of look at counterculture. There's protests going on about US troops in Japan. One in the group of the kids is even called Guevara. He uses still photos, he uses flashbacks, he uses flash forwards, he uses reverse negative images, he speeds up the film and music. There's a couple of fight scenes that he speeds up just to kind of lampoon them and make them even more ridiculous than they already are. There's a scene where two people have an argument and he uses word bubbles. So it's a very playful use of cinema. It's essentially like somebody getting a new bunch of toys and just pretty much going wild with it. So we kind of see flashbacks in Eddie's life, which as the film develops we see more of, but there are moments where it's just flashes and you can't really figure out what's going on. The film itself again uses handheld. He does use more traditional compositions as well. There's a beautiful scene in a graveyard, and part of the graveyard is sinking, so there's some really lovely compositions in the sinking graveyard. It's one of those films that deserves to be watched more than once, I think, to really digest everything. Obviously this was a taboo subject in 1969. You know, there's pictures of rows of male bottoms, one of which has a flower in it. And the opening scene is shot in this blinding kind of white light, and it's a couple making love, and then you actually realise it's Yosho's character and Eddie. So it's always kind of subverting your ideas of what's actually going on. I would say, in the downside, it was made in 1969, there are some things I think that haven't aged that well. The whole kind of scenes with taking drugs and things like that kind of goes on a little bit too long for my taste. But for little things like that maybe don't work as well now, there's a lot to be enjoyed and, you know, like I said, digested. It's one of those films where I was thinking, yeah, it's a good film. There's some things that I like, some things I don't like. But then something happens, and obviously for spoilers I'm not going to say what it is, but there are some great scenes near the end of the film which for me kind of elevated it to a very good film. For me a kind of 4 out of 5 film. Granted, this is first view and it's still fresh in my mind. I will have to go back and actually watch it again, but there's so much good stuff in it. I think Daisuke had the Japanese Blu-ray. I think there might actually be a Region A Blu-ray available. Again, like I said, this is the Eureka Massive Cinema DVD. The print isn't bad, but it's obviously not that sharp that you would expect from a Blu-ray. So thanks very much for watching. Please let me know in the comments whether you've seen Funeral Parade of Roses and what you think of it. And I am going to let Daisuke know that this video exists, and hopefully he will do his own video on Funeral Parade of Roses, and hopefully he'll be able to explain it better than I did. So thanks very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again. This is a Soldier On saying farewell.